All right, San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? It's hour one of Jon and Jim. We are with you for the next 3 hours. There is a lot to react to. Jim is calling Joe Musgrove's outing today maybe career defining. This is better than his no-hitter. 6 innings. 2 runs. No decision.
I just remember saying last night that I'm not worried about Joe, and you're like, Joe's literally washed. He should be cut from this team.
No, I didn't say that.
And he might not ever be a good pitcher ever again.
No, I didn't say that. Like what you said about Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts and Fernando Tatis Jr.
Xander I did say, but not Manny.
You've been very close if we found the audio. Okay, so Padres and Reds, here's the thing. The deal with a rubber match is right, a deciding game of a series, game 3. You win it, you win the rubber match, you lose it, you lose the series, right? The thing with the rubber match is it's hard to really make any strong statements until you know who wins the game.
Right.
Because this can either be, this is where I would start today. And before we get to Brian Kenny, who, with all due respect, you say it. Brian Kenny is a
idiot.
I mean, I have no idea. What are they talking about on MLB Network? Seriously. So we'll get to that. But here's the thing. There's no in-between here. You lose this game, it's an awful, never to speak about again homestand where you go 1-5. Like, that's terrible, right? You can't spin that any other way. It's 1-5. You win today. Oh, they won a series against a pretty good team. The Cincinnati Reds, they have an off day before they start the road trip. So like we've said all week, it feels like an important series against the Cincinnati Reds. I'll still say it until the final out. The winner, if it's the Padres, all right, you're 16-18. All is fine. You lose it. How do you spin out of a 1-5 homestand?
Yeah, we're on the seesaw right now.
We are on it, man.
We can go one of two ways, right? If they lose, then unleash the fury.
Right.
If they win,
but not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. If they win, hey, Joe's back. Profar's his team all-star. Manny's heating up. Let's go. But we don't know until this game is officially over. But I do think we can say, since he is out of this game, that Joe Musgrove looked like Joe Musgrove today when it has not looked good for his previous 7 starts or 6 starts or however many starts he had so far this year. I think the biggest thing to me today was 9 strikeouts, no walks, a lot of swings and misses. His command issue was a problem, and he gave you what a $20 million pitcher you want to get. 6 innings, quality start, 9 strikeouts, no walks. Give your team a chance to win.
Yeah, the issue has been the other 7 starts, I guess.
I know.
So, like, until it's one start against the Reds, in which I'm with you, he was much more like himself, but the results are the results. I mean, 6 innings, 2 runs is good. It's not like this completely changes everything. I mean, he came in with a 7 ERA. What is it now? 6.5. So he's going to have to do this time and time again. Now, he did a year ago.
John. Got to start with 1.
He did a year ago. He had a 12-start stretch before he ended the year due to injury with a sub-2 ERA. So if we're trusting in Musgrove, as you have been since day one, despite his 6.94 ERA, I'm with you, then maybe this does start something. It basically has to. And we talked about this. We've been talking about this. I don't know any path for the Padres to make the postseason without effective Joe Musgroves and Yu Darvishes. And the good news is the last 2 days have been effective Joe Musgroves and Yu Darvishes because you returned from the IL. There's 5 scoreless innings. That's really encouraging. He threw 70 pitches, did not allow a run against a good enough lineup in 5 innings. And then Musgrove follows it up 6 innings, 2 runs here today. That alone is encouraging. So you keep them healthy, and all of a sudden Schilte's a better manager. They're ineffective or unhealthy, and Schilte might not be that good of a manager.
Well, Schilte was a great manager last night when he
was rolling the dice.
When he gave an opportunity for one of, if not his best player, to make him look good. I thought that was a huge moment for not only the game, but potentially for Manny and the season going forward. Now they did get lucky that Manny was up in that situation for Schilte to give him that opportunity, but that could have been really bad. It could have been DEFCON 1 coming in today if Manny doesn't come through there. If Manny hits a double play grounder, and if you're wondering, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what are we talking about? This is yesterday's game?
Yesterday's game. Fourth inning, bases loaded. He takes the run off the board, gives Manny an opportunity with 1 out, bases loaded, to make him look good. He does, bases clearing double.
Right.
Looks great. That was a big moment for Schilte because the thing is already teetering. You've lost 5 in a row. You're 4 games under 500. What happened in the first inning was a disaster. Couldn't score with the bases loaded, no outs. You lose that game yesterday, and it is get this guy out of town. What are you doing? We're done. All the good little vibes that this team had would have felt like they're completely washed.
Sure.
But to their credit, Manny came through. He's heating up. You pitched great. And you follow that up with a really good, solid performance from Joe Musgrove, something that I can't remember the last time they had back-to-back like good starts with Joe and you, if at all this year.
Maybe not this year. Well, Joe Musgrove hasn't really had many good starts. I guess there's been a couple of decent starts. And also, Darvish hasn't made that many starts because he was on the IL and missed 15 days.
Right.
So, I mean, and there was Korea. It's been such a weird start to the year when you consider a couple of games in Korea, Darvish and Musgrove coming off injury. Your big three have not hit. That remains a story, right? I mean, that remains a big story. The fact that Manny, Toddy, and Bogey have not hit. And we're now into May.
Well, it's fine because you got Jerks and Profar on this team.
You do have Jerks and Profar. You do. If Profar carries them single-handedly to the postseason, then you should probably lock him up with a long-term deal like the Manny, Bogey, Toddy contract.
It's not, I feel like, some crazy thing to say that if the All-Star game was tomorrow, Jerks and Profar is his team All-Star.
He may be an all-star. I don't think he'd be there. I think like Dylan Cease would be an all-star.
Position all-star.
Yeah, it's not. I mean,
I say him, Cease, and Swarry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, I guess, if it was tomorrow.
But he has been
Swarry.
I mean, he's hitting 336 on the year with a 945 OPS, John, and that's like allowed 945 OPS.
I listen. I agree. I've said the same thing about Profar you have, which is this guy has no value, but he's completely proven people wrong.
And that's the greatest thing to have happen is being proven wrong.
Yeah.
Because going into this year, did anybody think Jerks and Profar was going to be doing this?
No, Padres didn't. He signed a $1 million deal.
Yeah, you sign him to bring some good vibes and bring back one of Toddy's best friends and make sure the clubhouse is more uplifting when you go in there. You know, instead of this doom and gloom from last year.
Completely.
And he's actually performed, and he has outperformed, and it's right now.
It's not close.
I mean, name me a better player on a 1-year, $1 million contract in baseball. I don't think you can.
Well, that's because I also don't know any other. But also, he's far and away the best. There isn't another Padre with an on-base plus slugging of 800, and he's over 900 and pushing 1,000. He's 4 for 4 today. I mean, it's amazing. You ride this as long as you possibly can. Like this hot hand, if you can ride it for a season, incredible. If you can ride it for a month, incredible. At some point, someone's going to have to pick him up. Like he might have, if he doesn't hit 350 all year, maybe Tatis can hit 350 for a month. Maybe Manny or Bogey can hit 350 for a month, is what I would say.
It's been incredible. It's been incredible to watch him perform. I think now he's 8 for 12 in this series with that single.
Yeah, he is.
Like, where would this team be without Jerks and Profar? That's crazy.
Maybe 14 and 19 as opposed to 15 and 18 would be my guess.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But he's been great. He has proven everybody wrong, which is awesome to see. And you get the win today. You feel like you kind of course corrected a little bit.
100%.
You're still under 500. It's still going to be a kind of an uphill climb because you have a pretty tough road trip coming up here in Arizona and then in Chicago and then the Dodgers next weekend. So it's not easy sailing, but you did what you needed to get done if you pick up the win today after the embarrassing weekend series followed by just lackluster, embarrassing Monday night versus the Reds.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, they never play well in Arizona, is what Padres fans would tell you. But the Arizona has been worse or similar to the Padres, right? Near identical record. And the Cubs have been really good, but if you just look at it series by series, if you win this series and go to Arizona, you're taking on a team that hasn't been any better than you have this year. So you can realistically say heading into that series, we believe we can win that series against Arizona. And if that's the case, then all of a sudden they're right where we started, which is a 500 team. If they can win today, if they can win a series in Arizona, you kind of forget about the 5-game losing streak, is what I would say.
Kind of do. I mean, the record is still the record, and you are what you are. And I wouldn't say just because if they win 2 straight games here versus the Reds and win a series, they're all of a sudden back to being a good baseball team.
No, but they'd be back. They'd be back to where they'd be 500.
Oh, if they win the series in Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they'd be a game under. I'm saying they nothing's been determined. The 5-game losing streak, a couple of game winning streak, they're just hanging around.
Because what you want to do when you have a long losing streak, and it's hard to accomplish, but you want to try to erase that as quick as possible. And not let it linger and not go just back and forth where you all of a sudden it's like we got back to 1 game under 500 and then you lose 2 in a row. Right. Or then you get to 500 and then you lose like 4 in a row.
Right.
Like you want to get past that threshold as quickly as possible so it's not lingering for potentially months and months, because it can. I mean, how long it takes a long time sometimes when you are 3, 4, 5 games under 500 if you're not a great team at reeling off 8, 9, 10 wins in a row potentially to get back to that point.
Yeah, it can. And that's the thing. I guess you never know. Like we said a couple days ago, does this look like a team that's going to win 5, 6 in a row? And you say, of course not. They've lost 5 in a row. But then if you win a second straight and then you go to Arizona and you're playing a Diamondbacks team that's reeling like you've been reeling, all of a sudden, that's the thing with baseball. You have so many opportunities as the Padres have now taken a 6-2 lead on a grand slam from Jay Cronenworth. So Jay Cronenworth has the Padres 6 outs away from a series win against the Reds. Slam Diego. So that's really encouraging. So now they're well on their way to winning a series against Cincinnati at home. Like we said to start the show, it hinges on today, your mood. You win it, all is well. You lose it, terrible homestand. Isn't that amazing? One game can do that. And that's what this game could potentially do for the Padres. Another 4-run inning. I think they lead baseball still in 4-run innings.
This 5-game losing streak was a moment in their season where we were going to find out what this team was made of. Last year's team would have crumbled. Probably crumbled. And it would have taken them a long time. Still not out of the woods. They win today. They're still 3 games under. Okay. That's still not a good baseball team.
They'll be 2 under.
2 under?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 2 under. Sorry. My bad. Because
they're 15 and 18.
15 and 18. No, it's 3 games. Oh, they're 15 and 18 right now. You're right. Sorry. Okay. 15 and 18 right now. So they'll be 16 and 18.
Yeah.
You're still under 500. So you still need to get to that threshold and get above it. Right. But like these last 2 games here, John, especially last night, after that first inning, you're like, oh my God, here we go.
I know. It lost 5 straight.
I mean, this is a disaster. But they've shown something these last 2 games that they frankly shown this year for the first 3.5 weeks of the season, to be fair. Fight and grit.
I agree.
And that's a great sign. It's a great sign because I was worried.
Everyone was worried. You lose 5 straight. Nobody's like, all is well.
I was worried. I was like, here we go again.
Yep.
Is this team going to revert back to last year, or are they going to show what they've shown this year so far, which is fight, grit, the comeback mentality and the never giving up mentality? And tell you what, man, the last 2 games here, because now you're up 6-2. Bravo. Good job, guys.
I mean, they really did need it. And the thing is, nothing is decided now anyway. Everything we said in April really isn't accurate once you get to May. Nothing was decided. After April, we said they had to get off to a fast start. Did they? We don't know. Did they need to get off to a fast start? We have no idea. Because we don't know what to do over the next 5 months. They only needed to get off to a fast start if their slow start cost them a playoff spot. If their 15 and 18 start doesn't cost them a playoff start, then April doesn't mean anything. So in April, it feels big, but they're just as big now in May. It's not like just because they went 15 and 18 in April, they buried themselves. They didn't. Now, do you want to go 15 and 18 again in May? No. At some point, you need to play better baseball. But I'm with you. They've been resilient. They've dealt with adversity, and they have fought. They may not be the most talented team. Actually, let me correct you. Not. In baseball, they may not be as talented as they were a year ago, but can they have better results? That's like that $1 million question. Can you replace Juan Soto with Jurickson Profar and somehow have a better season? Padres are trying to prove that it's possible somehow this year.
Yeah, you end this month. Well, now it's actually the next month.
Yeah.
It's April. So
3 games under 500.
3 games under 500 after the first month of the season. Not ideal. It's not, because now you're looking for a month where you're going to have to be better than 3 games over 500. Ideally, like a 16 and 10 type of month. I don't know if that's like the
it's
number.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you play 26 games this month, I would say 16-10 would be very beneficial to this team going forward. And that means you're going to play some good baseball. Straight up. 16-10 month, that's
15-10 after 6 outs.
Okay, 15-10 after 6 outs.
But the truth is, and we do this all the time, and I agree with you, every single day, they don't have to go 16-10 this month. You know what I mean? Month, because then they go 16-10 in June, or they go 13-13 each next 2 months, they go 16-10 in July, or they go 13-13 all the way to August, and they go 16-10 in August. You know what I mean? So they just got to play. I think the way they've played, and I never change from cautious optimism, maybe during the 5-game losing streak. If they continue to play the way they've played, I actually trust that they can navigate their way to relevancy late. That's my argument and statement. If they play the way they've played, if they show fight offensively, they'll navigate their way to relevancy when it matters. That's how I feel. Until they lose tomorrow.
Well, they don't play tomorrow.
Or blow this lead.
Yeah, or don't say that. Please don't say that. They need to stay healthy-ish. That's a big factor.
Huge.
Here. And if they do, I agree with you. Just they stay in it. I'll see what they can. I'll see. Yeah. I like their chances.
It's honestly, I'd prefer what we've seen to what we saw last year, even if they were a game better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like last year felt more smoke and mirror-y. Yeah, that's not a word. And this, not the 16, 18 is anything to write home about. But it's like 16 and 18. You know when they put the arrow on the power rankings trending up or down? They're like a kind of a slight up just because of not based on the last 2 days, based on the body of work. I give them a slight up because their offense has outperformed what it was expected to do, and their pitching has underperformed what it's expected to do. Therefore, I think the pitching is going to catch up, and I could make a case for them to continue to improve.
Yeah, and everything that we've talked about, the trend lines.
Yep.
Even through the 5-game losing streak, they still had some pretty decent offensive numbers. It didn't look great. It looked really bad.
But a 9-run game, a 6-run game were 2 of the losses offensively.
Right. And then the 2 losses that you had on that Friday and Saturday night, you're facing 2 of the best pitchers in baseball.
Exactly. And you're not going to win every game.
And I'm not using that as an excuse because, like Schulte said, you're going to have to find ways to beat those pitchers late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're lucky enough to get to October, you're going to have to find a way to beat those pitchers in October.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you face the Phillies in a wild card series, or not a wild card series. Yeah, a wild card series, right?
Yeah, best of 3.
You're facing not only Nola and Suarez, but you're also facing I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, Zach Wheeler.
But
guess what? You're in a wild card series. So we will worry about
I went way too far. Yeah, I'm just saying in general, they're still gonna have to find ways.
Definitely.
They have been much better offensively this season. Profar has been a revelation.
Unbelievable month.
I think really Jerson Profar has really changed this offense.
Probably. It's probably more than just what he's actually done on field. He
Yeah.
probably has played a role in addition to that. Everyone says that.
And Jake Cronenworth.
Yep.
2 guys that didn't have good years last year.
Correct.
With their stars struggling, Toddy, Bogey, Manny's getting hotter. Yeah, trend lines are looking good, and hopefully they can finish this one off here. And a 2-4 homestand is not great, but
better than 1-5.
You end the homestand with a series win versus a good team.
Yeah,
feels good.
Better than 1-5. By the way, Padres, the offensive numbers had trended down, but still, a top third. You could argue a top third offense in baseball right now. That alone is encouraging, despite the fact that they are under 500. All right, finally, let's rip into Brian Kenny. We'll do it on the other side. A ridiculous conversation about the tradability of Fernando Tatis Jr. That's next on Jon and Jim. Brian Kenny, MLB Now, on the tradability of Fernando Tatis Jr. Yeah, our reaction is the same. That's next.
This update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Jake Cronenworth with a grand slam to give the Padres a 6-2 lead as they head to the eighth inning, bottom of the eighth inning at Petco Park. They have a 6-2 lead there. Joe Musgrove pitched great today, going 6 innings, striking out 9, walking 0, giving up only 2 earned runs. Padres have an off day tomorrow before they start a 6-game roadie through Arizona and Chicago. NBA tonight, Celtics and Heat, game 5 of that series. Celtics looking to close out the Miami Heat, 4:30 tip-off time. And the Mavericks and Clippers in LA, game 5 of that series with it tied at 2 games apiece. Tip-off time is at 7 p.m. Kawhi has already been ruled out for the Clippers. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
All right, when this game goes final, Padres are 3 outs away from a series win against a good Cincinnati Reds team. When it goes final, you'll hear from Shilty, Mike Schilt. I wonder if he liked the Crone Grand Slam. I wonder if he's going to say this about the Crone Grand Slam.
Give Crone's on some love right now.
Yeah,
give Crone's on some
give him
love
a lot
right
of
now.
love.
Give him a lot of love. Give Crone's on some love.
So we'll hear from Shilty when this game goes final. Now, there was a very dumb conversation on MLB Network yesterday. I mean, if we're going to be honest, Brian Kenny, who used to have a show that I feel like has been canceled. What was the name of that show? It was for like Inside Baseball.
The Shredder.
Right. So it appealed to like 4 people. And now he's doing MLB Now. And he had a back and forth with Dan O'Dowd about whether or not Fernando Tatis Jr.'s contract is tradable. Now, before we play it, no, it's not tradable. He has no trade clause. So literally it's not tradable because he cannot be traded. So that alone makes it utterly stupid. And the other part of it is, why would you be talking about trading Fernando Tatis Jr. in April of 2024? It makes like no sense.
It's the dumbest conversation to have at this point in time.
But it only gets dumber when you actually hear the conversation.
Oh my God.
It's dumb enough to entertain it.
Yeah.
It's even dumber when you hear it. So here's some of that.
Disagree, evidently, because I thought the Padres are kind of locked into their deal. They can't do a rebuild because they have these unmovable contracts. They just did an extension with Machado. Obviously, they just signed Bogarts, and including Fernando Tatis's contract. You disagree?
Well, I don't disagree in the sense the Machado, Bogarts.
But Tatis.
Specifically Tatis, I do think he's movable, BK, for a couple different reasons. Number one, he's 25 years old. You can look at 4 contracts in the game that were moved. Stanton, Cano, Arenado, Fielder, large money contracts, all aged 28 through 30. He's only 25 years old. 2, he's a premium defender at a particular position, which is right field. Won a Gold Glove.
It's not the particular position you want, though.
No, okay, but let me just finish my arguments here.
Okay, go ahead.
Before you blow him up.
No, go ahead.
And he is, even in what you might consider a down year compared to his past year, he was an F-WAR was 4.2. So my assumption is he's going to be that kind of player, which is a 4 to 5 WAR player per year. I've identified pretty much like 9 clubs that I think that he's movable to, because I think he brings something that's hard to find with our game, which is power, right-handed power, premium position, which is right field of the outfield positions, and speed and durability. And so I do think he's movable because I think he fills a niche. It's 28. His AEV on his deal starting next year is 28.1. I'm assuming you're going to have to take some money back. It's going to end up somewhere in that low 20 area. So I do think it's of the contracts that they have, I do think he is a movable.
I just completely disagree with you and you're laying out things, and yet you're seeing it through a certain prism that kind of warps things. One, the money that's owed. Here's what I'm a GM. I'm looking at it. I'm worried about paying Fernando Tatis, age 30 to age 35, to the tune of $36 million a year. So it's backloaded. That's the problem. Is that the contract's backloaded? Well, smart for the club, but not smart for the team that would be trading for him. Take a look at his numbers before his drug suspension and after his drug suspension. And this is a real-world issue that you must confront. Before he was suspended for using a performance-enhancing drug, he's an all-time great. He's Rogers Hornsby at shortstop, 369 on base, 596 slugging, OPS plus 100 being league average is 160. That's as a young kid, as a skinny shortstop. He's a monster. He's an all-time great. Since then, since the suspension, 321 on base, 446. I'm speaking lower because they stopped making as much noise. A 112 OPS plus. He's a vastly different player. Also, he's not playing shortstop. So you're saying, yeah, he had outrageous defensive metrics, but in right field. And so far this year, you know what his defensive metrics are?
Good.
0 and 0. So to think he's going to be a plus 27 the way it was last year, look, he adjusted to right field. Great. He deserves credit for that. But right now, those numbers are not going to hold. Even if he's a plus fielder, he's a plus fielder in right field, and he's hitting to the tune of a 112, not playing shortstop, $36 million a year. Yeah. No, thank you.
Well, I can't argue with you, and I won't. There's age regression built into that. I'm not sure I'm concerned about the age 30, 31, 32. 33 on it's a little bit problematic without a shadow of a doubt.
I don't know who he is, though, here. That's the basic thing.
I'm just
who
saying
is
to
he
you,
exactly?
Okay, I'm saying to you, worst case scenario for me, he's a 4-WAR player. If you want to take $8 million a year as a 4-WAR player, you know, that's $32 million a year, kind of almost around where his contract
I've never
is.
bought that number, though, as far as how much.
Okay, I'm just saying, from a mythology standpoint, I don't think the contract is grossly overstated from what his value could be as a 4-WAR player. I'll ask you this question.
Yeah.
Right now, if the Padres called the Phillies and said, we'll trade Fernando Tatis to you for Nick Castellanos and a young pitching prospect, would you make that deal?
I wouldn't take him under most any circumstances, even though Castellanos is not hitting at all. And would I want more pitching? I wouldn't want $36 million a year starting 4 years from now, because that's when you'll be really paying the price, especially if he never hits.
Okay.
No, all right, that's enough. So, okay, now you all agree. If anyone just heard the entirety of those 4 minutes and hasn't driven off a road or banged their head into against a wall, that's a Padres fan. Then
you're an idiot and you don't know baseball.
Brian Kenny. Like, that is a really, really dumb conversation. I could poke 10 holes in it in 4 minutes if I even cared to do it.
4 minutes?
That was they talked for 4 minutes. I have 10 holes in his argument in his 4 minute.
I was going to say you could do it
and
in 4 minutes.
I don't want to do it because it's so easy. I kind of wish we had him on the show, truthfully. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh, I'm worried about his age 34 season. What are you talking about? He's 25.
So yeah, exactly. Why?
Oh, he hasn't hit this year. It's 30 games.
Why do I care right now about his age 30 33, 34 seasons.
And why would the Phillies GM? He won't be the Phillies GM when he's 34.
I don't care right now about Xander's 38-year season. I care about his age 31-year season. I care about Manny Machado's 31-year season. I care about Fernando Tatis at age 25, not at age 32. To say you don't want a talented 25-year-old player
for Nick Castellanos,
for Nick Castellanos,
dumbest trade scenario ever.
Like if the Padres were like, "Hey, yeah, we'll take Nick Castellanos and a pitcher," and you're not going to do that trade, you're a freaking moron.
The Phillies, it's the dumbest thing is they posed it through the prism of would the Phillies make the trade. The prism is why on earth would AJ Preller even pick up the phone? You really think he wants to get out underneath that contract of all the contracts? You want to get out underneath your 25-year-old contract?
Of all of the star players and all the high-priced players the Padres have, he is the one player that you could trade.
Yeah, exactly.
That teams would want. Now, you'd have to probably, eat some money, but
I don't think the Padres would eat a penny, personally, today for a 25-year-old Fernando Tatis Jr., certainly not for Nick Castellanos.
I think you are right if he has an MVP-ish type of season.
If he has any type of bounce back.
Yeah.
True. I mean, if we get into another year or so and he still hasn't quote-unquote hit.
Yeah, then we'll talk.
The better conversation, we said this last night on the wrap-up show, the better conversation is, do you believe in Fernando Tatis Jr. long-term? Fair.
Totally
you want to have
fair.
a conversation, have it. I tend to, but I understand the merits of saying maybe not. Now, it's not because of a quote-unquote drug suspension that I don't believe in him. I might not believe in him because he didn't play for a year and a half, had real injuries, and hasn't bounced back offensively yet.
Like, what did the Padres do to you, Brian Kenny? Are you hurt that the Padres beat your beloved Mets a couple years ago?
Right. That's a good point.
I mean, is it really as that simple as you're just butthurt that your your Mets lost to the Padres and Joe Musgrove went out there and shoved,
right?
And
you still don't believe that he wasn't using on his ears or whatever.
I mean, that's the only conclusion I can come up with because that take, and he's had multiple takes about the Padres that have been just so. What are we doing here?
Twitter search Kenny and Tatis, and I think I spelled Kenny wrong, but I found something ridiculous from years ago. Let me find it. Yeah, it was like 2021. Yeah, he's just, I don't know. I really, for someone that is quote unquote so dialed in, so analytically focused, so aware, how can you be more unaware than that 4-minute conversation?
It was the most uninformed, just, hey, I'm going to bash this player take I've ever heard.
In April, trading Fernando Tatis Jr. Anyway, Padres have beaten the Cincinnati Reds and won a series at Petco Park. They should play all games at home during the day. All home games should be played during the day. Padres win 6-2. We'll hear from Shilty on the other side. That's next. Full reaction to a Padres series win over the Reds down at Petco this afternoon, 6-2. Plus, we'll hear from Schulte coming up. Stay with us. All right, big win. It was for the Padres, trying to avoid a 1-5 homestand. They do so behind Joe Musgrove. 9 strikeouts, 6 innings, 2 runs. Jake Cronenworth. Keep Cronenworth some love.
Give Cronenworth some
Yeah,
love
we
right now.
really should, right?
Give Cronenworth some love.
Good Crone's on some
Yeah.
love right now.
Crone's on some
Give
love.
Cronenworth some love right now.
A Grand Slam. Remember when we used to call them Slam Diego, and then they went like 2 years without a Grand Slam?
Yes.
Well, it was nice to see it a big spot. 2-2 game.
Again, how many 4-run innings is that now for the Padres?
I think
year?
it's at least 13.
That's insane.
It's
Incredible.
16, 18. They didn't have a 4-run inning until their 28th game last year. They've only played 34 this year. I think they have at least 13 4-run innings. They're like gritty.
I will say, like I said to start the show, while the game was still happening and it was a 2-2 tie, now it's official. Look at this, John. Since leading off, Jerks and Profar's hitting 625 with a
If he keeps hitting 625 in the leadoff spot, look out.
I think he might stay there.
Probably
He might stay there. But
or bogey. You could move
Who?
bogey there.
they don't. Again, they don't need bogey.
They don't need bogey.
They
Just
don't need
trade bogey.
Yeah, it's much easier to trade bogey. But the resilience and grit of this team that they showed a lot of to start this season, it's still with them. Like they still have that. And that's good to see, and that's encouraging to see, because I was afraid, and I think everybody was at their wits' end come, Monday night and into Tuesday. It was like doom and gloom. Here we go again. And I trust me, I was a part of it. I said this team sucked.
Yeah, here's the thing. When you do it every single day, you overreact to everything.
Correct.
A win, biggest win. A loss, worst loss. When you kind of have the benefit of putting it in perspective, it's 16 and 18. The 8-run come from behind win wasn't a turning point. Nor, I will see if today is or not. Or maybe they're just 16 and 18. It's fine. Teams are worse. Teams are better. What we want to see is the trend lines. It's not about one game. It's about you, Darvish, and Joe Musgrove for the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about Profar going 10 for 18 as a leadoff hitter. It's about Jurickson Profar. Can he actually be this guy for 162 games? If so, huge coup. The other thing it's about Toddy, Manny, Bogey.
Now,
are they going to be Toddy, Manny, Bogey?
Exactly. Now, things aren't completely back to normal.
Season's not saved yet.
Season's not saved yet. It feels much better that you ended your homestand with back-to-back wins, winning a series for the first time in a couple weeks, because you split with Colorado. You lost a 3-game series to the Blue Jays here, and you got swept by the Phillies.
Right.
So you haven't won a series since the Brewers series a couple weeks ago.
In Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee. So it's nice to finally get a series win. You start off the new month on a good note, and you now have, gained some ground here in a quick amount of time when it could have been like, all right, you lose this game today. Now you have a 1-5 homestand. You have an off day tomorrow. Everyone's still pissed off.
Oh, it would have been doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Either of the two games. Yesterday.
You're still 4 games under 500.
Yesterday or today. By the way, both quasi-losable. I mean, yesterday, again, the Manny moment was big, but all of a sudden it was like 5-4, 6-4. And then today you're 2-2. I mean, you trailed in this game. You trailed 1-0, took a lead, then it was 2-2. I mean, this was a losable game, if not for Cronenworth. Show him some love.
Show him some love right now.
Yeah, I'm content. Like Padres fans, are you content with this? I'm kind of content with it. 16-18, I can't lose sleep over a 16-18 start. And I also can't start, getting ready for the parade. So I'm content with it. That's what I would say right now.
The highs and lows of baseball season.
Oh, man, it's all over the place.
It's all over the place. Now, I still do think the sentiment is true. I don't know if this team is going to be good or not. Even though they've won the last 2 games. Right. I don't know. I think that they're kind of a middling average team that can have some big time highs, but also can have some really big time lows. And I don't know if they can be that consistent team that you need to be to make the postseason.
Yeah, either do I. I'm 100% with you. I also don't know they're not.
I don't think that they're not, because of the resilience that they've shown to the first month and the grit that they've shown, which we saw none of it last year.
Yes, I'm with you with that.
So
that's why we haven't, honestly, I'll speak from my perspective. Actually, for you as well, you have not been like that 10 in anger, other than Tom Cosgrove, which was a joke and we were being funny. But we haven't, even during the 5-game losing streak, we weren't like season over. I actually specifically remember that show starting it. I think we both said the season is not over, but so I actually feel like we've been more level with this team, because we have seen some indicators that are encouraging, knowing they're not a perfect team, but it's way too early. Even when they lost 5 straight, it's way too early to quit on them, considering, again, top 10 offense somehow with all these big innings and the hopes of their pitching. Their pitching always carries the day. And hopefully that's the case with guys like Musgrove and Darvish staying healthy.
It's hard to say in the moment, but Sunday night and I think Monday afternoon, it was like, yeah, this sucks, but you win 2 or 3 versus the Reds, and you don't feel as bad, and you go on that off day, and you're still going to be under 500, but at least you win a series.
Mm-hmm.
Just go out and do that, and things will feel better. They might not be all better, and I think it might not look like everything is fine now because you're still under 500, and you just went through a 5-game losing streak. You went 2-4 at home. There are still some things that you need to fix. And
Manny, Bogey, Toddy.
Correct. But at least if you win this series, you feel better about yourself. And that's what they did. So credit to them. I'm with you. I never was like, season's over.
Quit. No,
it's not. We're not quitting.
No.
But we're also sitting here maybe getting closer to the side of maybe this team's just not good. The leaning towards that end of the spectrum was definitely something that was happening the last couple days here, because we just didn't know if they were going to go the way that it went last year. And for at least the last 2 games, to be determined about this road trip, but at least for the last 2 games, they showed a grit that they had at the beginning of the year, and thankfully it's still there.
One extra base hit today for the Padres is a big one, a grand slam. Manny, somehow, some way, in the quietest way possible. Now, he was robbed of a 3-run home run on an incredible catch.
Absolutely robbed.
Incredible catch. So, to be completely fair, he really hit a ball well. He was 1 for 4. He's somehow hit in 18 of his last 20 games with very little to show for it, without the power. But again, you have to be encouraged by the fact that he hit a ball essentially over a fence without a fielder. If there was no fielder, the ball goes over the fence, and it was brought back in today. All right, 6-2 Padres over the Reds. Do not go anywhere. You'll hear from Mike Schilt on the other side. He'll make the Cy Young case for Joe Musgrove next on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres get the win today over the Reds, 6-2. Joe Musgrove pitched great, going 6 innings, allowing only 2 runs, striking out 9, a season high, and walking none. The big hit of the day, along with Jerkson Profar's 4-for-4 day, was Jake Cronenworth's grand slam to give them a 6-2 win. They have an off day tomorrow before they go on the road for a 6-game roadie through Arizona and Chicago. And tonight, NBA playoff action. First up, Celtics and Heat, game 5 of that series. Celtics looking to close out the Heat. Kristaps Porzingis has been ruled out of the game. 4:30 tip-off time there. And the Mavericks take on the Clippers in a crucial game 5 in LA. With the series tied at 2 games apiece. 7 p.m. tip time. Kawhi Leonard has been ruled out. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim. The Padres have won a series against the Cincinnati Reds to kick off May. Let's give them some love for that.
Give Cronenworth some love right now.
Give him some love.
I don't know.
We're just clapping on the radio.
Let's lay this thing out. We're about to hear from Schulte. Okay, post-game. Imagine what he has to say about Joe Musgrove
post-game
today.
Schulte after a huge win.
I love it.
Oh.
But let's lay this thing out for a second. Tomorrow off.
Yes.
Enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
Right, get in a boat. Maybe they're traveling to Phoenix tomorrow. Probably.
It's a short flight.
Whatever. So they're off tomorrow. Dylan Cease will be on the mound Friday night
against Zach Gallen.
So a very good pitching matchup.
Very good.
Now, Arizona hasn't exactly looked like a team that was in the World Series last year.
No, they did have a walk-off last night in the B game.
Oh, that's right. The Bees. The Bees in Phoenix. That's right.
That game ended at like 11:40.
I had forgotten about that. Thank you for saying that.
And it went into extra innings too.
I know.
Can you imagine if we were doing a wrap-up show and like
after the Bees?
Oh my God.
Now they're 3 games under 500. So at best, they've been very comparable to the Padres. But you have Dylan Cease Friday. 3-game series against the Diamondbacks is winnable for me with Cease on the mound. And then you go to Chicago to take on a Cubs team that's been very, very good. But one series at a time. Can they parlay this into another series win? I'm assuming this starts with Schulte on Musgrove. Let's take a listen.
The line score doesn't always tell you what it looks like, but it was a pretty good indicator with 9 punch-outs and no walks in 6 innings. So good to see Joe go and do what he did on the heels of doing what Darvish did yesterday.
Big hit from Jake. Did it, just like yesterday a little bit, did this feel like how you've won a lot of games where eventually you take advantage of the opportunities with somebody coming through?
Feels like how we've won a lot of games and will continue to win a lot of games relative to doing little things that lead to big things. Wade's bunt got that started. Tyler Wade done a lot of things, which I'll get to perhaps later, but, he gets the bunt, Pro looks and ball didn't roll our way, but then knock first and third. Toddy takes his walk, and then Jake's ready. Now we've got putting pressure on people in a lot of different ways and then getting pitch we can put a swing on. And Jake came through and just put a nice, easy swing on and stroked it out there for a nice grand slam. That was huge, obviously.
What stood out to you the most from Profar in these at-bats that he's been having during this stretch?
It's the usage of the big part of the field. It's the I'm going to take what the game gives me. I'm going to make sure I'm swinging at balls I can handle, and then I'm not trying to do too much with it. And he's hitting balls, he's staying through the ball and driving the ball to all fields, left center, right center, just taking great at bats.
During this time, you've had some guys who have kind of struggled a little bit. For him to kind of be that presence, that at the top right now, but just kind of being as steady as he's been for this time, what has that meant to the rest of the group?
Been huge. I mean, good teams have that. We love to have, and we have had, contributions consistently from our lineup. But you're going to go through stretches where not everybody's firing on the same cylinder, and but it's important for guys like Pro and whoever it may be, in this case Pro, to pick up and be able to have those good at bats and get those big hits.
I think the same question was asked last night, but to win these 2 games after the way the previous 5 had gone and to take the series going into the off day, what does that just mean in general?
Yeah, I mean, it speaks well. It's also an indicator of, we played really clean baseball this whole homestand. Sometimes you don't get rewarded, but if you continue to play consistent, good baseball, play the game clean, playing the game right, compete for what the situation calls for, the game will ultimately reward you. In the last few days, we've done that very, very well, and built on what we've done prior. And we were able to get rewarded and get those big hits. So, we're just a little bit better,
Back to Tyler. What is it about him that he seems to be in the middle of a lot when he's in the game?
He's in the middle of a lot. He's when you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player, but he's got such a high baseball IQ, and sees the game well, and he's got a skill set. A great evaluator for me, at least, is how do you beat the other team? And in Tyler's case, he beat him with his legs today. We don't teach that bunt, but it's a nice one. It's in his bag, but it's the right process that allows him to be able to use his speed. And then he grabs a bag, and then Pro, gets the knock and scores 2 to give us the lead. So he can beat you with his legs. He can beat you with his glove. He's shown you can beat the bat in Milwaukee with a pinch hit. So he's just got a lot of different skill sets, and he can move around the field, which obviously creates flexibility. He's done a really nice job, and he's been a nice contributor for our club this year.
Man,
I
Wadey.
love the quote on Tyler Wade. When you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player. Mike Schilt on Tyler Wade. That's an amazing line.
See, here's the whole thing with Schulte.
He's the best, dude.
When they win,
it's the greatest thing that's
this
ever
stuff
happened.
is amazing content.
I think it's gold either way.
I would say when they lose and they've
lost a few,
the Schulteisms become more like cringe and annoying.
You want more realism when they're losing. You want them to say it how it is.
I want them to say it how it is when they lose, but when they win, I want the most Schulteisms you possibly can give me, because that is gold. That content is oh my God, I can't get enough of it.
One more time. It's late in this. Can you find it?
The baseball
I
play.
have to hear it again. It's that ridiculous. He said on Tyler Wade, it's in the last 30 seconds. When you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player. And the way he said it is unbelievable.
Dude, it's so
he
good,
says it's
man. It's so good.
I need to hear it again. I'm so excited.
When you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player.
That's such a good line.
Of course he's a baseball player. No
it's
S,
so
bro.
Good.
Oh
when
my
you
God.
say he's a baseball player.
He's a baseball player. Of course he is, moron.
It's like you look at your dog, you're like,
of course he's a dog.
Of course he's a dog.
He's a dog.
He barks. So
he's dog food.
So ridiculous.
That is such an amazing quote.
That summarizes Mike Schilt. Here it is.
He's in the middle of a lot. He's when you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player, but he's got such a high baseball IQ.
That's good. I just love that. He's just stream of consciousness.
When you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player.
I remember what we looked at each other the first week of the season. I think the three of us. It was Nick Ahmed. And he called him Nicky. And we looked up and down the roster like, who's on the Padres with the name Nick? And we found out it was Nick Ahmed. It was, and that was, I think, the first week. It was like, I'm like,
it was
and that's
versus
what I was
the
still
Giants.
learning. Yeah, I was still learning like who Mike Schill is. This is who he is. He's true to himself.
He's true to himself, man. Like it or hate it, he's going to give you that almost every game, every post game, almost every post game.
I love the post games. We start our wrap up show.
They're must watch.
I'm listening to that, and then we go on.
Look, when they lose, like the 5-game losing streak,
as entertaining.
Besides the Thursday game where they where Schulte had that passionate
gamers.
like gamers, right?
Was he right?
Well, it took only 4 games after
True.
that to become, winning gamers.
Mhm.
But when they lose, there was a moment on Monday. I'm just like, I can't listen to this anymore.
I know.
What
did he say?
No, I think it was Sunday where I was like, I can't. It was pregame on Monday when he said that they had a defensive clinic.
Oh, that was amazing.
And I'm like,
we put on a defensive clinic this week.
I'm like, no one cares.
You got swept.
You got swept and you got your ass kicked.
I'm not sure if it was really a clinic.
So there's 2 ways here. When they lose, I don't think the Schulte press conference is something that people will want to listen to, especially if you like are an emotional person and like get upset about them losing, because you're not going to get that from Schulte.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if they have like losing streaks, you're not going to get much from Schulte unless you get a random passionate plea of, we got a bunch of winning gamers in there, right?
Right.
And it can get kind of repetitive and old, and you're just like, I'm over this. I don't care anymore. Just go and win baseball games. But man, when they win, I mean, his press conferences are must listen, man. They're must listen.
You know what I really want?
They're so good.
You know what I need to hear is him with the team.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. I need to hear it.
Do you think Manny's at the edge of his seat, like, oh, Schulte?
I don't know. Do they think like we think about it?
I'm buying into what you're saying.
I think they kind of might. Like, again, when it's good, it's good. Like I can buy what he's selling when it's good.
Yeah.
It might run a little cold when it's not good. We saw what he was like. He was the most fiery guy ever with the Cardinals in that one thing we saw.
He was
in
like,
a postseason.
F them.
Like, whoa, okay. So
drop a couple F-bombs there.
I think he has I think he's got like the respect of his team because of the way he treats his team with the media. I do think that goes a long way. He's so careful to be so complimentary. I think that works with the veteran players. I don't know if the younger players even care. I think the younger players are just trying to find their way. But with Manny, you have to push the right buttons.
Yes.
And you almost have to step on eggshells. If I'm managing Manny Machado, I wouldn't be good at this. I'd be like, hey, Manny, we're going to do some early work at 2:30. He'd be like, screw you. I'd be like, all right, sounds good. See you tomorrow. Like he's probably a very interesting player to manage. And so with all that like there's so many particulars at play. You've got all these type A stars, arguably future Hall of Famers, including Manny Machado, Tatis, Bogarts. I mean, stars, right? Yu Darvish has been an amazing player. Joe Musgrove just signed a $100 million deal. You have big time players. Managing the complexities of that, like, no, thank you. Truthfully, that's a lot of work for me. But I feel like he's somehow, I mean, I don't know. I guess he's navigating it.
It would be nice. And again, it doesn't really matter. But if you got like, man, I would do anything for Schulte type of.
Yeah, you don't really get that.
No.
You don't hear a lot from the team on the manager.
Right?
And
it is kind of ironic that I have heard a lot this year in San Francisco about I would do anything for Bob Melvin. Interesting how that comes up in
Dude, we didn't hear as much of that last year.
We didn't hear much at all of that.
I think year one, there was a lot of respect shown towards Melvin. I remember Machado.
How could you not have the respect for Bob Melvin? You just got off Jace Tingler being your manager.
But do you remember hearing it in year two? And maybe it's because they just didn't play well.
No.
And remember the start of year one with Melvin where there was like mutual respect between Machado and Melvin, and they were like talking on the side of the field in spring training, and Manny was going to him for advice. And I was really encouraged by that. And they played very good baseball by and large in 2022. And then whatever happened in 2023.
On our YouTube chat, if you want to watch us on YouTube, go to Jon Jim 760 on YouTube. Like and subscribe. You can listen on the iHeartRadio app as well. But Cab Scout on our YouTube chat says Jake postgame gave Schulte props for believing in the players.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. When we do the cringe as media members, we talk about it every day. Yeah. It's not how we receive it. Mm-hmm. It's how they receive it.
And I think the moment last night, bases loaded, you had an opportunity to keep a run on the board, or you take it off And that's a message that was sent to specifically Manny Machado and the rest of the team. But specifically Manny Machado, if Tyler Wade's up in that situation, even though he's a baseball player.
He's a baseball player. Of course he's a baseball player.
I don't think he's taking a run off the board. Respectfully, I think he's keeping it on the board and letting Tyler hit with 2 outs.
But that's proving it with actions. You can say, hey, Manny's I really love the way he's playing, even if he's not hitting. It's easy to say that, but he actually did it. He took a run off the board, and it led to more runs for the Padres. I do think, and Jake Cronenworth apparently said as much postgame today, that the players respect the way Mike Shildt represents them publicly with the media, because not all managers do that.
Because what he's doing right now is he's still trying to win these guys over, I think.
Probably.
Maybe not everybody. Maybe just a couple. And by a couple, I'm looking at Manny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he is the hardest person to get on your side and kind of like pull the same rope as you all the time. And so a month in, Shildt and this club, they're still bonding. They're still getting to know each other. They're still getting to know each other's tendencies. And so far, it's Shilty's going to have these guys back no matter what. They could be 20 games under 500, and he could still go out there and say they're a bunch of winning gamers. What I think that's cringe, and what I think that's like, something that I think is just completely like goes right over everybody's heads. Yeah, I would. But the players in the clubhouse probably don't think that way.
And maybe it's an extreme example. We've talked about it within the last 7 days. The fact that on the Hosmer Long Ball podcast, Tatis specifically referenced, or maybe Hosmer did, or Pro specifically referenced, oh yeah, remember when our manager wasn't sorry, when our manager didn't publicly back Tatis after he swung 3-0.
Right.
That was 4 years ago. Like 4 years is a lot of time. They still remember it. So what managers say or don't say goes a long way with their clubhouse. And also it's a bit of a pack mentality. You lose one, you lose all. You have one, you can have all. To your point on Machado, I think if you win over Machado, maybe you've won over the clubhouse. You lose over Machado, you've lost the clubhouse.
He is the most important player in that clubhouse.
Definitely.
And if you lose Manny, or if you have him turn on you, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's stepping up in that clubhouse.
You sounded like, was it Hulk Hogan or something right there? Or who's the it's over? Is there a WWF character that
listen
does that?
Here, brother?
Is that Hulk?
That's Hogan.
It sounded a little bit like that.
Okay.
Hey, but continue. Or Quintera.
And Quintera. He's the most important player in that clubhouse.
Yes.
And so making sure that he is pulling on the rope that the manager is pulling on is the most important. And yes, Manny leads by example, but sometimes that example
isn't a good one.
Isn't a great one. So
it's true.
So everything that Shilty's doing, I would assume, has like an intent of making sure that he wins over those players in the clubhouse, starting with especially Manny Machado.
It's interesting. Like, is last night the quote unquote roll the dice with Machado going to be like the analogy for the season? As in, would you right now, as a fan, trust Machado from here on out?
Well, I think fans are going to trust Machado because
he's shown
that he can do it.
Well, I'm asking, that's the thing. Like, I'm kind of okay with this, is my point. If I'm putting the dice, if I'm putting the cards in Machado's hands, again, hasn't been perfect, has had ups and downs, even seasons. Am I willing to say I'll roll the dice? Because again, in one moment, you rolled the dice and it worked. Am I rolling the dice with Manny? He's going to be better than he's been. He's going to help carry this thing. Mike Shilt's going to be able to rein him in, wrap his arms around him. Am I rolling my dice this year with Manny and thinking I'm getting better results than last year?
I don't know if you're going to get better results than last year. It's still TBD. But here's what Shilty displayed last night and what he has displayed so far this season.
Okay.
I use the analogy. When you're in crunch time, you don't overthink things. You just give the ball to your best player. And if you lose, you lose. But at least you let your best player determine it.
So go with your gut.
Go with your gut. go with your best guys. That's why I did not have a problem with last Thursday in Colorado, because he went with his guys. Post game was a different thing. Okay. That rant was a different conversation. It wasn't in-game stuff with Schulte. He went with his best and he lost with his best.
Sure.
I'm okay with that. Same thing the other night. He went with his best and they won with their best. That's how I think Schulte is as a manager. And I think that's a good thing. Maybe he might overthink a couple things here and there, but at the end of the day, it's like, look, I'm letting my best players decide this thing. And if they don't decide, if they fail, then we fail. But I rather have us fail by going down with our best players than not.
When you say Mike Schultz a manager, of course he's a manager.
Of course he's a manager.
When you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player.
So true. All right. Truer words have not been spoken.
Yeah, I was going to say wiser words have not been spoken.
Same idea. Yeah. All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side. Much more on a Padres series win against the Reds. Plus, finally, today it happens. We'll explain on the other side. That's next.
When you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player.
All right, guys, you are looking for a game changer with your diet every single day. You are on the go. Look no further, folks, than Almond RX. It is that game changer for you and your family. You're looking for a healthy snack. You're looking for a tasty snack, and you want to curb hunger. Look no further than Almond RX. By the way, you go there right now, almondrx.com. You are getting free shipping on all orders of $25 or more. You heard me right. It's tasty. It's healthy. You're getting your daily serving of almonds. All right. Founded by a San Diego sports medicine physician. Available, by the way, throughout San Diego County Foodland. You can pick them up. And again, almondrx.com. Free shipping on orders of $25 or more. You're going to love them. Your kids are going to love them. In fact, I bring my son to preschool every single morning. We bring Almond RX packs with us. So it's become his daily snack. If it's good enough for my 5-year-old, he thinks it's tasty. I do as well. Take advantage of that free shipping offer right now. AlmondRx.com. Free shipping on orders of $25 or more. It's an immunity booster. You're getting your daily dose of vitamin D. It's healthy. It's tasty. It curbs hunger. It's perfect for the on-the-go lifestyle. Trust me and my son. Check them out at AlmondRx.com.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres beat the Reds today 6-2 to win the series after losing 5 in a row. They've now won 2 straight. Joe Musgrove was great today, pitched 6 innings, giving up only 2 earned runs, striking out 9, walking none. Jerkson Profar had a day, went 4 for 4. And Crone Zone hit a grand slam to give the Padres the 6-2 victory. They have an off day tomorrow before they start their 6-game road trip through Arizona and Chicago starting on Friday night. NBA basketball playoffs. We have game 5s today between the Celtics and the Heat. Tip-off moments away. Celtics have a 3-1 series lead there. And Mavericks and Clippers, game 5, 7 p.m. tip-off in LA with that series tied at 2 games apiece. Kawhi is out tonight for the Clippers. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
PM Pacific for men's basketball. It closed last night for football. So all this portal talk, which has dominated college athletics for weeks on end, the basketball portal's been open for 45 days. And the football portal was most recently open for 15 days during spring football or afterwards. It all ends tonight. Now, that doesn't mean rosters, because players can then sign in May, June. We'll learn who stays in the NBA draft, who doesn't. So there'll still be movement. The Aztecs still have players that they'll need to sign because they've lost some players in the portal. They've brought in players in the portal, like we had Nick Boyd on the show yesterday. But Jim, if you haven't been sleeping, you can sleep tonight knowing that the transfer portal will close at 8:59 p.m.
I've been okay.
You've been sleeping?
I've been sleeping fine. Have you been sleeping fine?
No, I've been sleeping terribly. Are you kidding?
All you do is text me at like 8 a.m. every morning going, hey, transfer portal news, transfer portal news, transfer portal news.
You're saying just sending you like tweets? Yeah, probably.
Just like, what did you send me today? You had to have sent me a tweet.
I didn't send you anything.
Yeah, you did. I let me check here. I think you did send me something this morning at like 8 a.m.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't send me anything.
I didn't.
Well, recently you have sent me things.
Of course.
Where you're like,
no.
And now it's okay, John. You can take a sigh of relief. You can take a deep breath to go in and out. It's okay. Kumbaya.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anyway, so transfer
We're
portal
back. It's
closes
fine.
tonight at 8:59 p.m. All right, Padres do beat the Reds, okay? And they won 6-2. So right now, let's get to this.
Has Joe Musgrove turned his season around?
I think that's too early to say. Give me like 3 or 4 consecutive starts where he pitches like this today. And then I will say, yep, that's Joe. Because the biggest thing, and Schulte even said it, when you look at the game like log here, and you see 9 strikeouts, no walks, I don't care what pitcher that is. That's a good outing most of the time, you know? So, yeah, he gave up 2 earned runs today, that home run in the first inning, but he gave you 6 innings, which, I mean, anytime a pitcher gives you 6 innings, it's great. No walks, 9 strikeouts, season high. He is on the right track. Just give me at least 2 or 3 more consecutive starts kind of looking like this and maybe a little better, and then I can say he's back.
Yeah, I mean, we need way more, obviously. I'm with you. I mean, if it becomes back-to-back starts like this or 3 straight starts like this, it's a much better conversation or a more interesting conversation to be had. I would say this about Joe Musgrove. He's a pitcher. Of course he's a pitcher. Next question.
He's a pitcher, guys.
Will the Aztecs be a tournament team next season?
Oh, man. I don't know yet. It's incomplete because I don't know.
Roster's not finished.
Roster's not finished. I don't know who they're going to get to fill the 2 remaining scholarships they have now that Lamont and Elijah's gone. So with the talent they have, I think they have enough talent. They just have to, They're a basketball team. They have to become a basketball team, John.
I like that.
Can you answer any questions today? Has Musgrove turned his season around? Oh, I don't know. Not
He's a
big enough
pitcher.
sample size. Are the Aztecs a tournament team? Oh, I don't know.
Brent's saying you. Yeah, no. Here's what I would
They're
say.
a basketball team, Brent.
Yes, they're going to be a tournament team because I trust the staff and look at the short, medium, and long-term history here, and they make it to the NCAA tournament. I mean, since Steve Fisher got here, how many times have they been in the tournament? Since Brian Dutcher's been head coach, they've been in 6 of 7 years, if you include 2020, the pandemic season. So, yeah, they've been in 6 of 7 years. I trust they'll get there for a 7th time in 8 years. I think they have some great pieces. I mean, a Miles Bird, a Reese Waters, what they've done here in the portal with Nick Boyd, Jared Coleman-Jones, additional portal additions that are coming in the days and weeks ahead. I think absolutely they have the pieces to get it done, and I'm going to trust the staff that they make it there again. Next question.
How would you guys change the transfer portal?
I don't know, Brent. I think I'll have to wait to see how the transfer.
The 5th again.
I think that we have to wait to see how the transfer portal plays out the next couple of years before I can make a definitive decision on how to change it.
Here's the thing. Is
you
it
have a career as a
changing-
politician in your future?
Is it changing the
not.
transfer portal or changing name, image, and likeness? Like, do you wish teams had a budget in which they were working from?
I wish that along with the rights deals and a budget, like you said, I wish that there was a revenue split that went to the schools, that went directly to name, image, likeness. I think that would be a big help, because right now it's a lot of like campaigning to get the NIL, whatever schools have these NIL initiatives, to go out and support those initiatives, instead of like having some type of revenue that the school gets from either their rights deal or whatever, that goes to, a portion of it goes to the players.
I didn't fully listen to you, but here's how I would change the portal.
Please say the exact same thing as I did.
Just replay what Jim said. No, here's how I do. It's way too long of a period that it's open. Okay, 45 days.
That's a long
These
time.
guys can figure it out in a text message. So I'm shortening that thing down to like 21 days, 28 max. And here's what I would do. I want to see some type of, if NIL is attached to it, I'd like to see some type of contract as well. Maybe it's a 1-year NIL deal. Maybe it's a 2-year, maybe it's a 3.
So
even if you told me the max was 2 years, but at least I'm getting a 2-year deal.
Right.
If you can tie a player to a school for 2 years because of the name, image, and likeness attached to that player, that to me is a big win compared to where we are today.
I would put a limit on the amount of times you can transfer.
Well, that too.
Or just put like a
right
a limitation on it. Let's say if you transfer 2 years in a row, you have to sit a year. We're going to bring back that rule of this isn't supposed to be you're going to go to 4 different colleges in 4 years. This is supposed to be if you're in a situation that wasn't working out, you can just go.
Right.
So I would say if you plan on transferring like back-to-back years or multiple years consecutively, then you have to sit. Because I think if they have to sit again, players are going to think twice before they just jump ship over, an extra $50.
Next question.
Who's going to win the NBA Finals?
Yeah,
it's hard to know.
I don't know, Brent.
I
need at least go at least one more round, and then
I
can
don't even
make
know
my
who's in
decision.
it yet.
True, very true.
Not the Warriors
or the Lakers.
Who did Sliwa say? T-Wolves?
T-Wolves have
they're looking good.
They look good.
Mm-hmm. What about the Celtics?
Kristaps Porzingis, that injury is a little worrisome there.
Okay. What about the Knicks?
I will say the Celtics.
I just said the Celtics.
I can say the same thing.
Oh.
Because the Celtics, if they don't win it this year, I don't know if they're going to win it with this core. Like, this is their time.
Have they ever won a title?
I think they won a couple.
So you think the Celtics?
I'm taking the Celtics just because they have the most pressure on them.
You know what I'm taking? A team that's never won it ever. Denver Nuggets. I'm kidding, but I'm taking Denver, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's a fair wager, right? Jokic, they won it last year. Murray.
Jokic is a basketball player.
Jokic is a basketball player. Murray, he's a basketball player.
These guys are basketball players. Come on. Of course
exactly.
Of course.
When you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player.
So true.
Of course he's a baseball player.
All right, back to the Padres series win over the Reds as we get you ready for a road trip that kicks off on Friday. Plus, we're keeping our eye on the transfer portal. Plus, coming up next, don't call now. We'll tell you when to call. Chance to win a pair of tickets to see Need to Breathe, Rady Shell, May 7th. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. We'll give those away next on Jon and Jim. All right, giveaway for you on the other side, plus looking ahead for the Padres to a week-long road trip. That's next. Deion Sanders, Shador Sanders back and forth on X earlier today?
None.
Did you see any of it?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I saw the headline, but I didn't read it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They
Seriously.
ripped on
That's
some
why I
transfer
asked,
portal
because I
guy,
don't
I guess.
even. What's that, Brett?
They rip on some transfer portal person.
I guess there was an article among players that have transferred out, and like one of the players was critical of Deion Sanders, saying like he kind of tore us down. He didn't get to know us. Like there was a quote in an article, and then like Deion and Shador went to X to like call this player out, and then it was just like back and forth between a kid that was at Colorado for a year and is now at like UTEP. It was, I'm just saying, like, what is happening was kind of my takeaway
I
here.
think Shador has the talent to become a top 10 pick next year in the NFL draft. I think his off-field stuff is very concerning. And like this right here. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah,
like that just like
I don't know.
Like,
I mean, does this mean anything?
I didn't see what he said, so I don't really fully know. But if you're saying that he like went out of his way to belittle a former teammate, I mean, that to me, I don't want that player on my team. Screw you.
You're saying Shador?
Yeah.
Isn't that one of those deals though where he's following the example of his coach and in this case his father?
Probably too.
Well,
Probably
the way
very
this
true.
ended, just so
Where is this?
okay. Deion Sanders' tweet taking aim at a relatively anonymous FCS player was viewed more than 12 million times. This is ESPN. He also clapped back at another ex-user who took issue with Shador's social media behavior and pointed out Colorado's record last year. And then Deion wrote, he's going to be a top 5 pick. Where's your son going? LOL. I got time today. LOL. Maybe it's just the age that we're in. Maybe this is more I don't know. I really don't.
Hey, Deion, maybe you should go out there and, I don't know, try to win more than 4 games in each season. That's just my thought.
Well, that's what the ex-user said. And that's when Deion said, well, my son's going to be a top 5 pick. What about yours?
You know, Deion, they said that about LeBron's kid too once.
Yeah. I don't. I think that Shador Sanders, again, like I said, I think he has good talent.
I do too.
But I also think there's a lot of red flags with him. On the field, he holds the ball way too long. I think.
I don't think he has a strong enough arm.
I think that his off the field stuff and his just like flat, like he is like his father. And that's not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that in today's climate, I think teams will be like, hey, are you about football or are you not? Are you all about football or are you all about your brand?
I think you and Brent should start a scouting agency. Brent, you said he holds the ball too long. Brent, what's your criticism of Shador?
His arm's not strong enough.
His arm's not strong enough. Jeez, maybe like the Bills will call you guys. Hey, what do you guys think about Shador?
Hey,
I'm glad you called.
Hey, I'm glad you called.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, he is a football player.
He's a football
player.
I mean, all I know is this, and I'm far from a football scout. When I
he's a
watched
baseball player, of course he's a
when
baseball
I
player.
watched Colorado last year, he looked really good to me. Like seriously, there were some moments where Shador Sanders was, I thought, spectacular.
But he did things on the field, John. Like he had some big time penalties where he like went up to some other team's face and he was like doing things.
Yeah,
I think his antics and I think off the field stuff and I think his brand that he wants to have so desperately because he's Deion's son, because he's was born into a rich family. He wants to be this guy that's very bravado. Like he has the Deion mentality.
Sure.
I do think that will be a little bit some red flags unless he goes out and has like an amazing season next year. And it's no doubt the talent outweighs all the other stuff.
Do you think that their games are like they were last year to start?
They had 27,000 at their spring game.
Are you saying it's good or bad?
That's very good.
But the year before they had 40-something thousand. No, I think it rained this year.
They still had 27.
No, I know that is. There's a lot of
you
people.
mean just attendance wise,
Yeah,
or
no,
just
no, no,
like
no, no, no,
national
no.
media attention wise?
TV viewership. Because if you remember that they set the world on fire with the TCU win. Remember, Shador had 500 passing yards or whatever it was, and then they beat Colorado State. They beat Nebraska, and the viewers were just rolling in. And
winning.
then again, they tailed off. Right?
They're winning.
So who do they like start the season with? Because I'm just wondering, like, are
they're
the
Big
first...
10 matchups?
No, they're in the
Big 12. Sorry.
Big 12, right?
Big 12, not Big 10.
Yeah, like, is it going to be must-watch television like it was last year when they opened with North Dakota State on August 29th?
Probably not. But again, if they win, yes, you can. I just don't think Dion can be talking all this stuff. I mean, it's Deion Sanders, so of course it doesn't matter. But like, bro, you went 4-8 last year. You had a 7-game losing streak. You finished last in the Pac-12. You might want to focus more on like your team than some random kid that thought that you weren't a good coach.
How long do you think he's going to be there?
2 years max tops.
2 more years.
2 more years, yeah. Because once his sons
are gone, right?
And once his son's gone, I think he'll do one more season, and I think he's gone.
I think he'll stay there until Florida State calls him.
What if Florida State
Does
never
Florida
calls?
State call? That's the other
I
thing.
think they will.
Yeah, maybe.
He's alumni. I think they'll call. You think he goes over big in Colorado, down in Tallahassee, he's going to go over even bigger. He's going to go from just being prime time in Colorado to being, prime time the god.
But then again, when did they call him?
State.
Because, I mean, Florida State was literally undefeated last year. So, like, it's not like Florida State is probably in any hurry to move. Oh, is it Mike Norvell? So, yeah, it's interesting. The way college athletics works, it can't happen quick.
Well, who knows? In 2 years, Mike Norvell might be someplace else. And
True.
then there'll be an opening.
This is so.
What do you have?
Did you read what the Xavier Smith said? I wasn't.
No, you're saying the in the back and forth on X?
So these are the 2 quotes that he put on social media that Dion flipped out about.
Okay.
He took my social media handles off my practice jersey and put the 247 Sports transfer portal account handle.
As if to say to transfer?
Yeah.
On his practice jersey?
Xavier Smith recalls Deion Sanders telling him he should enter the spring transfer portal. Quote, he only knows his kids' names. He calls everyone else Deion's child or child of prime, like he's Jesus reincarnated. I mean, those are how. Yeah, man.
So is that then what led to the back and forth discourse, those quotes in the Athletic article?
I think so.
It's a new world, man.
It's a new world, and I think Dion is still trying to find his way, and I don't know if he's a good coach. I thought that he was taking Colorado to another level next year, and it was like it was like, dang, okay, how he acts and does things. It's a lot, but if they win, then it's he's doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
But his antics got very tired very quickly there, I feel like, and I think the media and a lot of the players were like, bro, what are you doing?
It'll be interesting to see.
That's why I don't know if the ratings will still be where they were
Probably
last year.
not,
Because
is my point.
There's still people that still, enjoy his stick and everything. But I think there's some people that are getting sick of it.
Well, I just want to know if they, are they going to win 6 games? Are they going to I just want to know. I mean, they have Shador Sanders.
Make a bowl game? You want to know?
They're going to make a bowl game this year with Shador Sanders?
Yes.
We'll find out. All right. Brent says yes. All right, call right now. Caller 3. These are your tickets. Here's the number to call. 877-767-4760. We have a pair of free tickets to see Need to Breathe at the Rady Shell, which is an amazing venue downtown San Diego, right by Petco, May 7th. All right, 2 free tickets May 7th. Need to Breathe. Tickets and info, Ticketmaster.com. Caller 3. Those are your tickets. Call right now. 877-767-4760. Again, 877-767-4760. 2 free tickets to see Need to Breathe at the Rady Shell May 7th. Padres beat the Reds earlier today. Further reaction for hour 3 on Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres get the 6-2 win today to beat the Reds in a 3-game series thanks to a Jake Cronenworth grand slam. And Joe Musgrove going 6 innings, striking out 9, only walking, well, he didn't walk anybody, giving up only 2 runs. And Jerks and Profar going 4 for 4 in the game. They have an off day tomorrow before they start a 6-game roadie on Friday, starting in Arizona. In NBA basketball, Eastern Conference playoffs first round, game 5 between the Celtics and the Heat. Boston leads 32-16 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Boston leads that series 3-1. And later tonight, 7 p.m., it'll be the Mavs and the Clippers. Pivotal game 5 there as the series is tied at 2 games apiece. Kawhi Leonard will not be playing in that game. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim. We continue to react to a Padres series win over the Reds. They'll depart for Phoenix, where they'll play the Diamondbacks on Friday night at 6:40. It'll be an Arizona and Chicago Cubs 6-game roadie before coming home. So we're with you for the next hour. Manny Machado today. Now, again, he's hitting 18 of 20. He should have hit a home run, if not for a phenomenal play in right center field by Stuart Fairchild, center fielder for the Reds. Dennis Lynn postgame saying that Manny Machado called this catch where Fairchild went through the right center field wall, went over the wall. It's the 6-foot wall to make the play. Manny called it a hell of a play and then said, obviously it sucks getting robbed, but I rob a lot of guys at third base too.
I like that.
Which is accurate.
It's
completely.
accurate. It's like the
baseball, Jim.
It's baseball, and there are a bunch of baseball players, John.
Right.
It's the Adam Jones corner, or I guess part of Petco Park.
I would say the Jones catch, looking at MLB, put them both up side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Which am I taking?
Jones.
Jones.
It's a more important catch.
Well, definitely, but just the catch. I'm actually looking at the catch itself. I think Jones goes 6 inches higher up to grab it.
Okay.
Maybe 5 inches, maybe 4, but he goes a little bit higher up.
4.5?
Potentially 3 inches higher.
Maybe a little less than that. Maybe it was almost the same.
The thing with the catch today was, if you looked at the crowd reaction when they thought the ball was gone and it was coming, they started put their hands up so they wouldn't get hit by the ball. And then all of a sudden they looked up there hey, where's the ball? And it's oh, he caught it.
By the way, do we have sound? Oh, we do. So we're with you for the next hour. I want to react to this real quick. So we're on YouTube, obviously. We very rarely reference the YouTube chat during the live show on the radio, but I'm going to anyway. You did earlier. Ed Rivera, thank you for weighing in. He says, let me guess, the Padres are back. And I don't know if he's being serious or if he's referring to the way we talk about it day in, day out, or if he's just being, facetious. But
tomorrow, then they go to Arizona.
They're not back.
They're not going to. Well, they're definitely not going to lose again until at least Friday. But
correct.
No, it's not that they're back, but I would say they've never been gone and they've never been back all year. Because it's only been 34 games, and that cautious optimism thing we've talked about continues to play out. Again, could they have a better record? Yeah, they're 16 and 18. So they absolutely could have a better record. They could have a worse one. But it's not like the last 2 days they're back, but we even said 2 days ago that the season wasn't over. It's not like they weren't back, even when these things are long. It can take a while to play out. There's so many examples of teams getting off to bad starts that become good, or good starts that become bad. What I'm seeing is beyond slightly encouraging, is what I would say. Like, I'm not seeing everything I want to see, but there's some things in there. The big innings continue to be a big part of it. Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove on back-to-back days. So, of course, they're not quote-unquote back. They haven't been back since 2022, but there's still a lot to play for, obviously, on May 1st at 16 and 18. Nothing's been determined at all.
The best this team has been this year is 2 games over 500.
Oh, I remember that.
Do you?
Kind of. They were 2 games over 500, maybe after the Dodgers and Brewers series.
During the Brewers series.
Okay, yeah.
They were 11-9 after their Game 2 win versus Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And then they got shut out versus Milwaukee the next day. Remember that was the Michael King game?
I do.
So this team has never been better than 2 games over 500 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I have said, and it still reigns true, like, you got to make sure you're in it until August, till the trade deadline. And once August starts, that's going to determine your season. Maybe it's determined before that. Maybe they rip off 10 of 15 here. You know, maybe they rip off, they go, it has to be longer, bigger than that, but maybe of the next, let's say 40 games, John, they go 25 and 15.
Sure.
Very good. And maybe that is the part of their season that determines them making the postseason or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that's going to happen. I just think that they got to get to a point in August, which is the start, being in it, being around, either at or above 500, because, you know, if you're not above 500, I don't think you're making the postseason.
Right.
And the start of that month will determine your season. So that's why the 5-game losing streak was concerning, because you're like, this could go south, and maybe they won't even have a chance to get to that point where their schedule gets very soft for almost all of August to even have a chance.
It's funny being a fan, because there were people that texted us 70470, started with team, or commented in our chats on Jon Jim or the wrap-up show when they were in the midst of that 5-game losing streak, and they said, see, I told you they'll lose 100 games. And the immediate reaction from both of us in that moment is, like, no, they're actually not going to. Just like after winning 2 straight, they're not going to win 100 either. It's never the extremes. I mean, the Padres aren't a franchise that loses 100 games every year, even though they've had some bad seasons.
When was the last time they lost 100 games?
That's what I was going to ask you.
I mean, been a long time, I feel like.
Someone looked that up.
Didn't even lose 100 games during
in this whole era, they haven't lost.
The Preller era, they never lost 100 games.
So that's the point. Yeah, okay, they lost 5 straight. And you're telling me a team with Manny and Toddy and Joe and you. No, they're not losing 100. But also, they're not the team. I mean, if we're all going to be honest with each other, are they going to win 100? No. So the point is that, to your point, they're going to get, there's a very good chance. What's the answer, Brent?
93. They went 61 and 101.
Okay, so that was the last time.
Yeah, that was
31 years ago.
Right. So it's been a while. But to your point, based on everything I just said, and to your point, there is a really good chance they get to August with 60 games left and they're quote unquote in it. Because guess what? A lot of teams will be quote unquote in it with 60 games to play when there's 3 wild cards. So before we go off the deep end for their next losing streak, by the way, they'll lose consecutive games again between now and August. And before we go off the deep end in the other way, when they win 2 or 3 consecutive games, it will, I promise you, happen not just now, but again. To your point, you're right. If we sit here August 1st and they're a game up in a playoff spot, 2 back, 2 up, 3 back, 3 up, all is fine. Nothing's been determined at that point either.
Say they're 52 and 50. Would you take that?
60 to play?
Would you take that right now?
Great question.
Would you take that right? Would you take it right now? 52 and 50, August 1st. I don't know the numbers.
We don't know if that's
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, I'd probably be inclined to. Yeah, why not? Why not? Because then I'm trusting them for the final 60 games. I got no problem starting the season at 52 and 50. I haven't hurt myself. How many games could I possibly be out at 52 and 50? 2? You said someone's 52 and 48.
You won't be like 10 or 15 50, out.
Right. So let's say you're
from the wild card, not the division.
Yeah, let's say you're between 1 and 3 games out of the last playoff spot at 52 and 50. Because someone's 53 and 49 or 54 and 48.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take my chances, because what you've been preaching, and you're right, is it does soften. There's that 15-game stretch, which is like a quote-unquote soft schedule.
Oh, no,
So-
it's a soft schedule.
It's very soft. So, okay, I get there. I'm 52 and 50. I'm a game out. I'm 2 out. I'm 1 up. Sure, I'll play that hand.
Pirates could be stingy, right? They could call up Paul Skeens, and you could see him multiple times in August. They have some talent on that team, but I don't think anybody in Pittsburgh's like, we got to make the postseason this year with the talent we have. I don't think so. And you're going to play the Pittsburgh Pirates 6 times the start of August. You play the Rockies 6 times. And you play the Marlins, I think 3 times.
I think it's 3, yeah.
That's 15.
It is 6 and 6 and 3. Look at you.
So that portion of the schedule will be vital to get to being in it. And I think you're 50 at that point. Again, heads up, right? I don't know if the numbers.
No, but at some point they could be 52 and 50 through 102 games.
Yeah. And to be that 102 games with 60 games remaining, like you said, I'll take my chances. That means that they've played relatively consistent. I mean, they'll be consistent.
And it basically, so to finish your math off, that's 60 games left. That means you go 32 and 28 from there on out, and you're the Arizona Diamondbacks of 2023.
Yeah.
And you get the right breaks and bounces, and all of a sudden you're playing for a World Series. Now, again, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I'm saying
38 and 20,
32 and 28 in those last 60 games.
Yeah.
Far from impossible to envision with the 15 games you talked about to start that stretch.
And you're going to have a 60-game stretch some point in the season where you go 32 and 28.
Yeah, or better. Yes. So I guess the point is reserve judgment. But I reserve judgment because of this. They're not a 100-loss team, and they're not a 100-win team, which means they're likely going to be contending for a playoff spot with 60 games to play.
Will I get upset if this team goes on another 4-game losing streak?
Yeah, I will
Yes.
too. You should.
Or a 5-game losing streak? Yes.
Yeah, that
it
won't
will
be
feel
great.
like the sky's falling. It will. It just will. It will be back to this team sucks, but it will. I don't think until they're completely like dead and done, and
right,
say they're like 10 games under,
right, and there's
like
0.1% chance.
Yeah,
and
like,
you're
oh
right.
my God, that you can say like this team, it's just not it this year, like we did last year.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't that late that we were saying. I recall saying that in May, like something's wrong with this team.
Yeah,
and I didn't even say when they lost 5 straight this year. I wasn't like something's wrong with this team
because this team went to Mexico City. And we were hoping that would turn things around because they scored a bunch of runs that series, a bunch of home runs. And we're like, all right, the offense is back. Hopefully this is the, turning point of the season with the offense. And it wasn't at all.
Right.
But so far this year, they have had some adversity and they've overcome it in a big way. And they've shown a lot of grit. And I will take a team with grit any day of the week.
A gritty team, if you will. Now, Miles makes a good point in our chat. If you're not in our chat, you can join us. And like Jim said earlier, find us on the free iHeartRadio app. Great resource. Take us with you anywhere you go, or find us on YouTube because you can find us there. Search for Jon and Jim 760. I like Miles' general point. Assuming the Padres can take. What am I looking at?
What are you looking at?
I hit pause on our video. Whatever. He says, assuming the Padres can take care of business during the quote-unquote soft part of the schedule is mighty bold. LOL, which is true, too.
I am not saying that they're going to take advantage of that soft part of their schedule in August.
But they at least give themselves an opportunity.
But I'm saying, like, that is where they have to take advantage.
Right.
Just like what we said about their 4-game series with the Rockies this past, last week. You have to take advantage. I, by no stretch, am saying that they will and have confidence that they can because I haven't seen it. So it's yet to be determined, TBD. I'm just saying that's where it's going to be made. And when they take on bad teams, they have to play well versus them.
What about 619 that says, and again, 70470, start your message with the word team. What about 619 that says the Padres are an 80 and 82 team? Or an 82 and 80 team.
Probably, maybe.
That general point, but that just proved Jim's point and mine as well. If that is true, then they are in it clearly with 60 games to play. You could even argue if you have an 82 and 80 team, you could very well be in it with 10 games to play. You could be 3 out with 10 to play, 2 out with 11 to play. So, and again, maybe on the fringes, needing some breaks, but if they fit it, just because they may go 82 and 80 doesn't mean they do it the same way they did last year. Last year, they dug themselves 12 or 13 under and dug out of it. What if this team is actually 2, 3, 4 over and then late either does or does not take advantage of opportunities?
What you don't want to see is why this series was so important is them go like 7, 8, 9 games under.
That's when it gets uncharted, deep water territory.
Because now you're putting yourself in a position where you have to play some damn good baseball.
Yeah, we were saying that last year.
And you can win a series and you can feel good about it, but you look up and then you're still 7 games under.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to make sure that whenever you go through losing streaks, or at least right now, that you don't, fall too far under 500 and that you get back to the Mendoza line and you keep yourself there. Right?
No, Mendoza line's hitting 200.
Sorry. What is it? What's
500?
500 line. I don't know. Whatever. If you hit 500.
If you're a 200 team, we're going to have some issues. I think we're going to have a lot of issues.
They're a baseball team.
Right. He's a baseball player. Of course he's a baseball player.
They're a baseball team. Of course they're a baseball team. But yeah,
we're 5. You know the videos all
when you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player.
You know the videos on social now? Like, they're 5-year-old boys. Of course they get dirty. Do you know what I'm talking about?
We're radio hosts. Of course we don't know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what it remanded me.
That's a good one.
What were you saying?
Maybe Schulte's on the TikTok.
Maybe
he's scrolling at nighttime.
Exactly.
He's like, I got to use this one for the game tomorrow.
What were you saying? Because you lost me after you said they're a 200 baseball team. Or a Mendoza team.
Oh, I was just saying you can't slip too far under 500. I mean, even if they're 2 games under 500 here for the next month, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
No.
But at the end of April, you look up and this team is like 4 or 5 games under 500. I wouldn't feel great about it because you've just now completed 2 months of under 500 baseball.
What about 619 that says, I don't think this team is it because they lack players. Well, they're baseball players.
They're baseball players.
They have those people.
Yeah.
I think they lack cohesion. Will we ever see the majority of the lineup hit together as a unit consistently? I can't see it. Now, despite that, while it's fair what you're saying, why do they randomly have 4-run innings all the time?
Because
like all the time.
A lot. What, 13 times?
13 plus times.
Yeah. What they need is not cohesion. They need consistency.
I was going to say, I actually think they have the cohesion.
Yeah, I think they do too. They need to be consistent, and you need your stars to perform. I think Manny is on an upward trajectory.
Kind of feel that.
It'd be nice if saw more power. Like, were great.
Oh yeah, we need
you need power. Toddy,
I don't know what to say about Toddy.
I don't know. I mean,
it was 3 days ago. He's hit the ball hard. Now I don't know if that's
everyone loves his 6 for 42 slump, but
beyond that,
I need to see results. And then Bogey, it feels like just whatever you get from Bogarts this year will be you'll take it, but don't expect much.
What did Toddy do today?
I think he went over with a couple walks. That walk before
Crony
hit the grand slam.
Crone
zone some love.
Show Crone.
Yeah,
Crone zone some love.
Crone zone some love.
Give Crone zone some love right now.
I think I'm doing the math right. I think he's 6 for his last 49.
Probably
not ideal.
No, not ideal.
And by the way, again, part of to the texter's point and part of the non-ideal part, Merrill Ofer's last 19.
Yep.
Again, it's all part of it. We said yesterday, and I stand by it. We'll take the wins. All the other stuff's on the periphery.
You don't complain about wins.
We're taking the wins. Let's go to the phones. 877-767-4760. Alex was at the game today.
Oh, nice.
What a day, by the way. 70 and sunny.
It's beautiful.
Does that ever happen? It does.
A couple times.
Alex, thanks for calling in, man. You're on with Jon and Jim.
Hey, I was at the game today, and my one observation is seeing that the Reds, they got up for our crowd. They want to show us out, but our team doesn't want to show for our crowd. If that makes any sense to you guys.
Did you feel, hold on, Alex, before you go, did you feel that, though, today specifically? Because the Padres played, again, they had a big moment, and Musgrove pitched well. And did you feel that specifically today?
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I see Jonathan Indian. I see he's playing into our crowd. He's trying to show us up.
That's because they draw 11,000 people.
They're not used to seeing a crowd like that in Cincinnati on a Wednesday.
That's an interesting point in general.
Thanks for the call, Alex.
I mean, that is an interesting point. The other teams don't, Cincinnati doesn't draw.
The Reds did not play a clean series.
Oh, awful.
They committed a lot of errors and a lot of mistakes that were made that the Padres capitalized on.
Before Proe's 2-run, whatever, to give him the
bunt.
2-1 lead. No. When he gave him the lead, there was a drop ball at first.
Yeah, and there's a drop ball the other night.
I know.
A couple drop balls the other night. But you take advantage of that.
But does that explain this whole idea? We'd be like, why are they not good at home?
I'm not ever going to say that players are not performing because of the big crowds. They're professionals.
No, but Alex actually spun it differently, which is the Reds don't play in front of big crowds, so when they do, they're up for it.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like they're getting up to play here.
Well, they didn't come in. They were
40,000 on a Wednesday.
They didn't come in here like a juggernaut. They didn't come in here like
and they lost
20-2. Yeah, they lost the series. They just lost the series to the Texas Rangers. They just split with the Phillies.
By the way, we got to get this to Brent, but we'll hear from Jay Cronenworth and
Crone Zone and Pro
coming up at 5:30. They spoke to the media postgame. And again, considering what it could have been, was it yesterday we were on the air? Man, it's amazing how quick it happens with baseball.
Very quick.
Yesterday we're on the air. Jim loses his mind about Tom Cosgrove. I don't even know why. And they lost 5 straight when we were on the air at this time yesterday.
I lost it on Tom Cosgrove, not because of Tom Cosgrove. I just lost it on the sentiment that this team's lost 5 in a row. It feels like things are teetering.
Send Cosgrove
and
down.
We're asking questions about Tom Cosgrove, and we're giving answers of like, he's important to this team. And I'm sitting here like, no, he's not. I mean, he can have some big moments for this team, potentially out of the bullpen. But at the end of the day, this team is not going to be making the postseason determined by Tom Cosgrove.
Close your ears, Tom, if you're listening.
It's just, I mean, you do disagree with me?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course, no. It was, but I'm saying it's amazing a difference of 24 hours because you've played 2 games since. We were on the air. They hadn't even played last night.
I know.
They played last night. And now they've won twice. And we said earlier, even when we started this show, it's this huge pendulum swing from win the series. You can live with it. I mean, all of a sudden you have a positive outlook.
I thought they were going to win yesterday. I called that one. Blind squirrel find a nut.
That's what I said.
That's me.
I know.
I found it.
You found that.
I found that.
All right.
Nut.
Here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do. On the other side, let's hear from Crone Zone, who hit the grand slam. And Pro, who went 4 for 4 and is having a Juan Soto type season to start 2024.
Yeah. It's funny. If you told me, right, before the Juan Soto trade, and you know how they do on like ESPN or even MLB Network, they put up like these silhouettes of players and like who's having a better year,
yeah.
right? If you before the Juan Soto trade, and we didn't know Juan Soto was going to get traded, and you put up the silhouettes of all of the players, like that you showed me the diamond, right? Left field, I'd be like, damn, Soto's got off to a really nice start for the Padres this season. And then it was Profar. I'd be like, stop it.
Sports, man.
Yeah.
That's why they play the games. All right, let's hear from Pro and Crone Zone on the other side.
Because they're baseball players.
Plus Jim's back page. Stay with us. All right, we're going to hear from Jake Cronenworth, also Jerks and Profar as the Padres win a series against the Cincinnati Reds today. Petco next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres beat the Reds today 6-2 in the rubber match to take the series and have now a 2-game winning streak after their 5-game losing streak that they had. Musgrove pitched well.
You Musgrove did? Yeah, and I thought Joe...
You messed me up. Musgrove did well.
Joe Darvish was better.
Their baseball team, John. They're a bunch of baseball players. Anyway, they have an off day tomorrow. They have a 6-game roadie coming up in Arizona and Chicago. NBA happening right now. The Celtics and the Heat, game 5 of their series. Celtics, they lead that game right now 62-41 with 3:55 left in the first half.
You are just sinking, dude. You are just dying.
I'm dead. I'm dead. This update sucks.
Shut up, nerd!
Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples.
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck.
Basically awful. And if that happened to me, I'd be embarrassed for like 2 days. You wouldn't even care. Jon and Jim back with you.
I could literally care less.
I know. We'll hear from...
You have to make that an open brand.
That was terrible.
That was so bad.
I don't know if you can with the sound in the background.
I said you freaking
it was
Musgrove.
So bad. It's not even
what
worth
am I
replaying.
doing?
But we'll hear from Jake Cronenworth and Jerks and Profar. 4 for 4 Jerks and Profar coming up in a moment. Real
quick.
4
for 4 Jerks and Profar?
It should be. Real quick because we're still cutting up that sound. Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark says the league's coaches are in favor of NCAA tournament expansion. The Big 12 would like to expand the NCAA tournament beyond 68 teams.
Shut up!
Right, this is the shut up nerd, right?
Yes.
I mean, we have. There's been so much smoke around this story. We've talked about it at
nauseum.
No, but like at times over like 12, 14, 16 months. You know it's coming is my point.
These greedy bastards all they want
Do that.
is to get more money. And the tournament is perfect. It's perfect. But why do they want to expand, John? Because
more Big 12
they
teams in.
need more money. The Big 12 is not as good as the Big 10 or the SEC. How do they make it be as good or almost as good as the Big 10 and the SEC? More money, more teams in the tournament.
Yeah, again, if there was a real reason to do it, I'm open to hear. If you want to go from 68, I'm making this up, to 72, and someone gives me a compelling reason, I'll listen. To go from 68 to 96 or
Makes no sense,
24,
dude.
whatever, and just let every Power 5 team in, to me, takes away the beauty of the tournament.
Yeah.
The David versus Goliath. I don't think anyone wants to see the 7th team of the Big 12 play the 14th team of the Big 12.
No.
They want to see the 3rd team of the Big 12 play like the Atlantic Sun champion, because that stuff is interesting to people. Cinderella. People like Cinderellas in the NCAA tournament. All right, let's hear from, I think we're going to start with Jake Cronenworth. He had a grand slam today. The Padres
Crone's on some love.
beat the Reds 6-2. This is post-game in the Padres clubhouse.
No, I'm just excited and take the lead.
Both of these games felt like the kind where you took advantage of the other team's mistakes, maybe missed some opportunities, but kept creating opportunities. So these feel like those kind of wins that you've had.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I mean, I feel like we executed really good today, and obviously Ashcraft pitched pretty well. He's got really good stuff, and Joe pitched just as good and kept us in the game and gave us an opportunity to win there late.
Can you describe the pitch and the swing of the grand slam?
Yeah, just fastball in, just trying to take a good swing and drive it to the middle of the field.
It was gone when you hit it?
Joe talked about how just his outing today was confidence boosting for him after some struggles. For this team, how much of a boost was this series, what you guys played overall?
No, it's huge. To see him bounce back like the way he did and go out there and he pounded the zone. I think he had 9 strikeouts today, or right? 9? Yeah, I mean, that was awesome to see. It felt like everything was super sharp for him, and it looked like Joe, and that's awesome.
How about for the team, just a team boost for this team as well to go ahead and win a series like this?
Yeah, it's huge. After a rough series to start the homestand and to come back and beat a really good team in Cincinnati and, win that series. And I think it's a great thing going to the off day and, another tough road trip coming up.
You guys know how valuable Jerks and Profar is in this clubhouse. Are you surprised at all how scorching hot his start has been for this season?
No, it's just he's playing like he knows how to play, and man, he's done an incredible job in that leadoff spot. Similar to what he was doing in 22 in the leadoff spot, and having him doing what he's doing up there is huge for us.
What is it about him in the leadoff spot? Kind of, is it like more than maybe just what he does numbers wise, like kind of the feistiness?
Oh yeah, he is good at bats. It seems like he's not giving any pitches away, and it seems like even if he does strike out or he gets out, it's a really tough out. And when he gets his pitch, he puts a great swing on it.
Jake, your thoughts on Fairchild's catch that robbed Manny of a 3-run home run in the first?
Yeah, it was a great catch.
What was your view on it? Did you see it?
Yeah. Well, I was just waiting at second. If it got down, go to third or try to score. Or jog home.
Can you describe the emotions of the swing like that, given the last week, given a game that could have gone either way, to step up and contribute in that way and kind of take over?
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, like I said, it wasn't just me. I mean, Pro went 4 for 4, had 2 RBIs, and everything kind of started with him today.
Jerks, real quick, your thoughts about 4 more hits today, and now you're hitting 342. How does it feel?
That feels good. We played a really good game today. I'm happy with the win, and Joe pitched really, really good today and help us in the win.
And how about Jake's home run, the grand slam?
Same. Good at bats. Jake's been swinging the bat really good, and we're happy with the grand slam today.
You've been productive from wherever you've been in the lineup this season. What do you like about hitting that leadoff spot?
I like everywhere in the lineup. It doesn't matter.
Joe talked about how this win for him was a confidence booster. For this team, how much was this series a bit of a confidence booster after a really tough stretch the last couple series?
It shows the character that we have in here in this clubhouse. Obviously we weren't getting any wins. couple games, but everyone came with the same energy today and play a really really good game, a really good series.
Darvish yesterday, Joe today. How important are those two guys?
I think Darvish set the tone yesterday, and Joe follow today. That's them, That's how Joe's been pitching the last couple of years, aggressive, and it was fun playing behind him.
You described the emotions of seeing Cronenworth swing, given the situation, given the last week, and a game that could have gone either way to kind of take control the way that you did.
Yes. We always looking for those swings. We have a team that's going to put a lot of runners on base, and we always looking for that swing.
All right, that was Crow Zone and 4 for 4 far.
Jerkson Pro 4 for 4 far.
I like that.
Yeah, 4 for 4 far.
Pro 4 for 4 far. Yeah.
There was something. Oh yeah, we heard Darnay Tripp, friend of the show. Obviously, Marty. Thank you, Marty, for the sound. By the way.
Yes. Thanks, Marty.
I'm surprised actually. I was about to say here about Darnay is he's always like getting sound and all this stuff. How often is he down there?
Good amount. Well, it helps when you have like a seasoned credential, John.
True. And he doesn't have a radio show from 3 to 6 that would prevent him from being down there.
Correct. If you have a radio show from 3 to 6, it makes it a little difficult to go
be
to
there
Echo Park
after an afternoon game or before a night game.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Because before an afternoon game, their clubhouse usually isn't open or the manager doesn't speak. And you can't be there after the game because, you're doing a job. So,
well, it was good to hear from Crone Zone and Pro.
Crone Zone, Pro, Trippy, Martha.
Give Crone Zone some love right now.
Johnny Howard.
And by the way, Cronenworth knew it was
Sorry.
gone when he hit it.
Great. I didn't know that.
He knew it was gone.
Wow.
So did I, because he hit it.
Everybody
a long
knew
way.
it was
watching. I was pretty sure it was gone.
He's like, I don't know if it's going to get
Yeah,
out.
no, it was gone.
40 rows deep.
So all's well that ends well with this homestand. They won the last 2 games, dropped the first 4. All right, on the other side, we're with you until 6 p.m. Stay with us. Jim's back page. That comes your way next. All right, so imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free, no credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Hey, guys, it's Shay for Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly with Loan Pronto's AI-based system. You can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You could get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home, and you could use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner is saving over $850 a month doing this. That's crazy. Your home value is way up, and you can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands at your fingertips, and approval just minutes away. Here's the number to call, 619-207-4336. Again, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com, 619-207-4336, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender. I like this idea. Jeff Grammer covers Mountain West basketball. We've had him on the show a number of times. He says with the transfer portal closing tonight at 11:59 p.m. local for each school, we should have a reporter in every time zone and do like an all-night New Year's Eve style show. Like, we're in New York City where the transfer portal's closing. We're in Colorado Springs. Jim doesn't care.
Like New Year's Eve?
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that's creative.
Dick Clark's Rock and Transfer Portal Eve.
It's closed. It's closed in Denver. It's closed in Columbus. People are celebrating outside.
Like election day.
Basketball offices. So ridiculous.
What are you saying?
Jim,
I'm just giving Crone Zone some love over here, okay?
Dude, we're having the most. Oh my gosh. All right. Typically around this time, every single day, we do Jim's back page.
Yes.
Now, today, we're going to change it up. Do you know this, Jim? We have something very special for you planned.
Oh, what did you do?
We're going to do Jim's back page.
You know, when you say he's a baseball player, of course he's a baseball player.
Of course he's a baseball player.
We say it's Jim's back page.
All right. McDonald's is making their largest burger ever, and some customers will test it early, John.
Is it called a third of a pounder?
McDonald's has announced plans to create the largest burger customers have ever seen.
Seen?
Yeah, this news comes
That's
after the chain
subjective.
introduced its, quote, best burger initiative in the beginning of 2024.
How big?
Now, plans for McDonald's is to also increase the size of their burgers as per the chain's call on April 30th this year.
Yeah, because don't make them cheaper. Let's just make them bigger.
So what are we
don't have to
talking?
change the price.
It says they'll be testing a new burger in a few markets later this year, ensuring that it has universal appeal before scaling it across the globe. The
6 pounds or something like bigger
the
than
big
we've
changes.
ever seen.
So you got hold on here.
I just want like a burger that looks like Shaggy and Scooby made it on a mystery.
Now, it doesn't say how big the burger will be, but they're just saying that it's going to be a bigger
What's
burger.
the biggest now? The quarter pounder is my assumption. The actual
well,
weight.
it's also about like the patty. So you get like a double quarter pounder.
Oh, no, understood.
Or you can get like 2 Big Macs and like put them together.
Sure, you can do whatever you want.
It's like a
I guess, in
4x4
theory.
in and out.
What?
A 4x4 in and out.
Oh,
you know what that is?
Of course.
That's the biggest one they'll let you do anymore.
Four burgers, 4 shakes.
When I was in
4
high
fries.
school, or I remember we went to In and Out, and one of my buddies got a 8x8.
Well, the first time I came out here for vacation was when you could still do, you could get a 30 by 30 if you wanted to, but they stopped because people would just buy it, take a picture of it, and then they'd be throwing away 28 burgers.
Right.
Some of the things that McDonald's changing this year are the beef patties. The patties will get a tighter sear on the grill, resulting in juicier and a tastier burger. Brent hates this one. Grilled onions.
I know. Did they screw these burgers up already last time?
They're going to have meltier cheese,
Wait,
John.
why? I don't understand. If it ain't broke, why are you? It's
Thank you, John.
McDonald's.
I know, but maybe
Thank you.
can
That's
make it
coming from a
better.
vegan
Yeah.
McDonald's.
I don't know.
No, you don't like Coca-Cola. What you're doing is working.
I know, but you're not changing the recipe for Coca-Cola. I get it. But also for McDonald's, they're not changing the recipe on the burgers. They're just changing how they cook them. That makes sense?
Okay.
Yeah. Fresher lettuce.
What does
they're
that
also-
even mean?
Crispy shredded iceberg lettuce straight from the fridge that they will add that fresh crunch to the burger. Also, they're going to have softer buns. I love the buns at McDonald's.
You already love the buns at McDonald's, though.
The burger buns will now be made to a brioche style recipe so that they are even softer with a slightly sweet flavor. And of course, they'll be freshly toasted to order. So be on the lookout for all that at McDonald's.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And a couple stories here from Airbnb, John. The first one.
I think I know where you're going.
The first one, because I want to keep the best for last here, is the movie Up? Of course you don't.
No, it's a cartoon.
It is kind of a cartoon. Well, Airbnb has announced this new Up style house located in New Mexico, where you can stay at the exact house from Up, with the balloons on it.
Yeah.
Is that like the most depressing Airbnb ever?
The house is a 40,000-pound house with 8,000 balloons attached to it, and it's suspended 50 feet above the ground.
I'm good. I'm
just
good.
like the movie.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
If the lucky guests who are selected will also receive a digital golden ticket, and more than 4,000 tickets will be available in 2024. The booking windows and costs vary per experience, but most are priced at $100 per guests. So you can, stay at the Up House if you want.
This is kind of odd because John hasn't obviously seen it because it's a movie,
But it's a cartoon.
But yes, but John, for being a cartoon, like the first 8 minutes of Up is the most depressing
It's so
8 minutes in
depressing.
movie
Is it really?
history.
It's
Yes.
very sad.
Especially for a kids movie.
Yeah, I know why it's sad, because the house is in the middle of the air and you can't get down.
Sure.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
That's not it.
It just has to do with a dead wife and some other stuff that
just fine.
classic kid movie tropes.
All right, what else you have?
Finally, last but definitely not least here, the coolest Airbnb possible. You can stay, John, in the X Mansion in West X-Men, which is now have a new series that has come out, and it's in the middle of it. It is probably the best Marvel animation they've ever done.
That's subjective.
It is. I think it's probably the best thing Disney's done on Disney Plus. Period.
I saw Jim tweet about it like midnight.
Yeah, it was awesome.
When you're checking transfer portal news.
Exactly. I thought the portal might have closed last night.
Airbnb plans to rent out the X Mansion, which is a 2D experience. So you walk in there and it feels like you're actually in the cartoon. Every single room feels like you're in the actual show.
How much?
It doesn't say how much. I didn't. It says the house is set up to be just like the X-Men mansion in the Marvel series X-Men 97.
Complete with a danger room.
It comes complete.
John doesn't know what that is.
A danger room also comes with. It's hosted by Jubilee. So you have the Jubilee room. You have the Wolverine room. You also have the War room. You have the danger room.
Can I ask a question? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
This is from the show, dude.
From the X-Men.
All right.
The X-Men Mansion is part of a new effort by Airbnb, one that will embrace pop culture to offer its users the ability to stay in iconic properties, both real and fictional.
I mean, how often does this come up in conversation? You're going to stay in Airbnb. Hey, let's say the X-Men room.
If
we had Aaron finds out they're not going to Switzerland.
if we had like 6 other dudes or 6 other people that loved the X-Men series, and it was like
crazy.
I know, and we want to stay next house, would you want to do that? I would.
Yeah, I'd go there.
Yeah, and I want to go to the moon.
If I have an Airbnb for that.
Yeah, you want to see the moon? Go to the moon.
I don't even know what this show is here. All right, if you missed anything today, sportscom, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, Radio, Spotify. Please leave a review. Find us on social media at Jon and Jim. Jim is very active. JONANDJIM. We're back tomorrow at 3 p.m. for Brett and Jim. I'm Jon. Keep it here to this very, very station.
Peace out. Bye.
Bye-bye. Give Crown Zone some love on the way out.
Give Crown Zone some love right now.